This episode of the pWoCast was brought to you by the A Single Poem Podcast. Hi, Derek here. There's one thing that the whole world has been wondering for years. How bad can a podcast truly be? Well, I am here to answer that question for you. The A Single Poem Podcast is a new podcast released monthly where I, Derek, will read a single poem in the most monotone voice I possibly can. Nobody wanted it. Everyone has to deal with it. Find out exactly how boring I can make the Jabberwock or the Raven. The A Single Poem Podcast. It really is just one poem a month. This is not a real podcast. I faked these ads. This ad is fake. This podcast is fake. If you wanted me to do it, if you paid me, I'd do it, but I don't want to do that. The PWO social media links are in the description. It's been a minute since we recorded one of these, huh?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but excited to be back. How we doing?
I'm doing a-okay. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm ready to dive into some wrestling.
Oh yeah. You finished well like the school year, right?
Yes,
How'd that
yeah.
go for you?
So the school year was interesting this year. Um, I would say academically it wasn't my best performance, but it was solid. It's I can blame it on the pandemic. You know what I mean? I had an
Yeah. That's fair. Like I feel like it's hard to I had a hard time with school this past year. Like
Yeah,
academically, I wasn't the best either. And
no.
like I know we can joke about blaming COVID, but I really feel like that actually does play a part of it.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely did the pandemic because it really affected social life on campus because I was on
Mm,
campus in the spring and it was actually harder when I was living on campus because at least when I was living at home, I still had all my friends from high school that were
right.
still kind of around, but when I went to like everyone was sort of afraid to hang out for obvious reasons. I get it, but that didn't make it any easier.
Right.
It was kind of tough living in isolation for a while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard because like when you're at college, you want to be like walking around and leaving your room and going to see your friends, and you can't really do that when COVID's going on. That was
Yeah,
when I was at school in the fall. That was like the hardest part of that for sure.
yeah, it was just like wanting to see people and like you can't because
Right.
they're either in the different dorm or they don't want to at that time.
I mean, the way to get food was also dumb this past year. That
Yeah,
was
everything
also
was
hard.
takeout.
It was all takeout, and you had to order it before you got it, and you had to do it on an app on your phone.
And they announced that this year there's going to be no late night option on the weekends.
For like this coming school year.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck? It's the
So
first time hearing of this. What the hell?
so bistros closed, I think Saturday and Sunday or Friday and Saturday, but the DC is not open like past 8 on the weekends. So if you want food after 8, you gotta get it from somewhere else.
What the hell? Don't they want business?
That's what I would
Why
figure.
would a college stop serving mozzarella sticks at night? That's ridiculous.
Like they were
No one's
definitely making money
no
from
one's
doing.
gonna go to the bistro. That's like the one place that everyone went.
Exactly. That's the thing. I think it's because they're probably going to cite that bistro sales were down this past semester, but like that's because we're in a pandemic. That's not
Yeah,
because no one likes bistro.
like hardly anyone went to school this past semester. A
Exactly.
ton of people took gap semesters like me. I feel like
I
you
would have
can't
loved to have taken a gap semester. That
I
would have
feel
been
like
so.
I feel like you like that's like closing Burger King for a bit and then opening it up and changing the hours because in the past week business has been down.
Well, you know what's eerie is that something like that kind of happened in my town. So we had a Burger King, and I want to say in like the fall of 2018, there was a huge kitchen fire, and the Burger King just kind of shut down. and it was shut down for a while. It was shut down for about like a year and a half, and
Hmm.
everyone was speculating what was going to go in there. They're like, "Oh, what's it going to end up being?" And after like 2 years of the building just being completely vacant and all this hype surrounding it, it ended up becoming a new Burger King. Another Burger King. They just remodeled it.
Okay, you want to hear something crazy? So, several years ago, I want to say probably fall of 2018, uh, ironically enough, the same time as yours, Burger King, a few videos went out that a friend I went to high school with who worked at Burger King posted of how disgusting the Burger King was in my town. Like it showed like bags of buns with water in it. Just videos of mice that were chilling. Like not mice that were running around, mice that were just chilling. Like they were alive and they're just chilling in the Burger King. And then
They're nice and gross.
he got fired for posting those videos and then posted the video of him getting fired. And then everyone stopped going to the Burger King. So they shut down and replaced it with a new Burger King.
It's I just wish it was something else. No disrespect to Burger King, like chicken fries are good, but at the same time,
Hmm.
I'd rather have a different chain.
Are they good though? Are okay. I Are chicken fries good?
It depends when they were cooked. If they're fresh, then I think they're good. But if they've been under a heat lamp for an hour and they start to just kind of crinkle on the
Mm-hmm.
outside,
I
yeah,
think
they're not my favorite.
my thing with chicken fries is that it almost feels like too unnatural of a way to consume chicken to me. Like
Yeah,
chicken nuggets are already crossing the line because that's just blended up chicken mashed back up together. But like chicken fries are like that's not a shape that chicken is. If chicken's that shape, it's a lot bigger than that and tender form.
yeah.
It's I don't like them personally.
Yeah, it's definitely an unnatural shape, but I like the breading and the flavor and the way the chicken comes together just from a taste point. Like, yeah, it's probably if you're going to Burger King to get something natural, I don't know if we can talk because
What, you've
honestly,
never ordered a salad from Burger King? I can actually say that I have in my time ordered at least one salad from Burger King.
to be quite honest with you, I don't know if I've ever ordered a salad anywhere else.
That's very fair. Oh my gosh. I worked at McDonald's for 3 weeks last summer,
Really?
and I don't think in my 3 weeks of working there I ever saw someone order a salad. To the point where I'm not actually sure if it's on the McDonald's menu anymore because I never saw one ordered.
Yeah. So my question is, if you worked there for 3 weeks, we all want to hear about the ice cream machine, the inside scoop on what happens with that when they say it's down.
Well, not to disappoint you, but I worked in the kitchen. I was
Um,
I was the person who made the sandwiches essentially. I wasn't
okay.
even I didn't fry cook. I occasionally like did the cooking for like the chicken and the burgers or whatever. But the thing I did was I made put it all together. So I never
Okay.
went near the ice cream machine.
Okay. So were you the one that actually had to like put the burger together and get the lettuce and
Yes. If
whatever?
if if the food was ever wrong, it was because of me. Yeah.
So I want to dive into this more because I feel like a lot of people don't know about this little
I,
stint here.
I
So
haven't talked a ton about my 3 weeks at McDonald's last summer. I hated it. I really hated every part of that time period.
I was gonna say, so walk us through like some of the training and then maybe through to like when you were just kind of like, all right, this isn't for me.
Well, so the training was there was one person training me who was the only like friendly person there. Uh her name was Kelly. She was awesome, great. She just taught me what to do, how to make the sandwiches and whatnot. And that was about it for training. Was like a day or two, and then I was expected to be pretty much just as fast as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And they always put me on mid shift, which is actually the worst because that's the busiest time. So they were always on top of me about time for food.
Yep.
Uh, yeah. Uh, but they did not treat me or anyone well at all. At the Burger King, not at the Burger King, at the McDonald's in the town that I had lived in. And it was, if there was, so, like, I don't know. It's just, it was. I hated it.
So did you have to put in a 2 weeks, or did you just leave after the third week?
So I probably should have put in a 2 weeks.
It happened.
I called and was like, "Hey, I'm done." To which the manager was understandably upset. I probably quit in the worst way. Don't do what I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that McDonald's. I could probably still make every sandwich if you asked me to.
Have you been to that McDonald's since?
No. I don't eat at McDonald's anyway. McDonald's is gross. Are you kidding me? Especially after working there.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
can imagine after working there,
gross.
you're never going back.
No. Especially since every single piece of food they have, there's a fast food place that does it better.
Yep,
Every single piece of food they have.
I would agree.
Name one right now. I'll tell you exactly who has the better version.
Just fries.
Fries, Wendy's.
Oh yeah,
Wendy's, Five Guys. Both have significantly better fries than McDonald's.
and then we want to talk chicken nuggets. Like,
Chicken nuggets, Wendy's.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Wendy's, and I will come out and I will say Chick-fil-A for chicken strips. Chicken strips are nice. It's tough to find someone that can make a good chicken strip.
I don't eat at Chick-fil-A
Yeah,
because they suck. So,
yeah, that's fair.
um, yeah, like even like chicken sandwich. I don't know. I haven't mentioned this on this podcast. Best chicken sandwich in the game is Burger King.
Really,
Absolutely. It's called the Chiking now,
I've heard about it.
which is the dumbest name, but it is so good. Oh my gosh, whatever hot sauce they made to go with that chicken, it's like perfect.
I was gonna. Is it just like a chicken patty and like pickles and a sauce?
I swear this crack in the chicken. I don't know what they did, but it's so good.
Yeah, I will have to try that next time I drive by Burger King.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Burger King is like almost a joke at this point. Like
Yeah,
people think, I think their problem was trying to do a taco.
yeah. Burger King, it just feels like they do things to try to gain some sort of relevancy, but they're never gonna be Taco Bell.
No, never. They're never gonna be like any of the stores. The closest they've gotten is their chicken sandwich. They don't really have good food other than that. Their food has a very Burger King taste to it.
Yeah, I will say it, if I do have to go out like to some sort of fast food type of place, I am at the point now where I would much prefer a Chipotle or a Subway, one of those kinds of places you just
Right.
go up and tell them what you want, they throw it in a bowl or whatever.
Right.
Like it's so much better. We've evolved past
We have.
get me a burger and fries.
Right. And I feel like after going to like a restaurant with real burgers and like watching places with real burgers, it's almost like insulting the options you have for burgers at like fast food places because the options really are burger
Yeah.
and then burger with like a specific variety of things. Whereas like you get like you go to like the 99. Their burgers are like the Vermont maple burger with maple onions and cheddar cheese and this, and it's the most amazing thing in the world.
Exactly. And then you have places like Red Robin, which just serve like good burgers.
Right. I will say, not to talk about Burger King more, but the one thing I think Burger King did right is that when their approach to making bigger burgers is the correct approach to bigger burgers, because most fast food places, bigger burgers are usually taller, but at Burger King, big burgers are just wider. The
Yeah,
burger itself is bigger. The sandwich itself is bigger. So you're not eating like a this, you're eating like a this.
yes, yeah.
That is good.
And it could, because like if you look at Kitchen Nightmares, sometimes one of the biggest problems when it comes to burgers is that it's way too tall and you just can't
You
bite
can't
it.
eat it. Any burger you need to put a toothpick in is too big.
Yeah, it should be smaller than how wide your jaw can
Don't
open. You know.
don't make finger food that won't fit in your fingers.
Yeah, that's a very good way of thinking about it.
That's just not how fingers work.
If you have to pick your burger up like this, you're not doing it right.
No, no. I feel weird because I have a specific way I like to make burgers. And like I've never seen anyone make a burger with the ingredients that I do. Not to be like bragging, but like and I put some weird stuff in burgers that always makes it better usually. Have I ever made you a burger?
No, I don't think we've
I'll
ever
need to.
like cooked or anything like that.
I'll need to make you a burger. I want to do a lot of cooking this coming year. Uh
Yeah, I want to get into it. Jared's gonna try to get me into cooking, so might
I
have to
want
have.
I want to make you I'll someday I'll come over to you guys' apartment and make you and Jared burgers.
Yes, yes,
That would be a great evening.
can drive to Walmart at like 4, get all the supplies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and my supplies include maple flavored barbecue sauce and Dr. Pepper is my ingredient. For everyone out there, if you want to make burgers like me, throw in some Dr. Pepper.
I like the idea of Dr. Pepper in
Yeah,
a burger.
because what it does is it makes the burger like a little bit sweeter, but it also caramelizes the whole thing because it's all mixed in. So the sugar when it's cooking, the sugar in the Dr. Pepper like caramelizes. So you get flavor coming from the outside of the burger.
Yeah, and then you add some sort of onion with that.
Yep,
Ooh,
absolutely.
now we're talking.
Add some onion, Munster cheese. You get it on regular rolls. I like to make burgers on ciabatta rolls, although I understand that that's not something a lot of people like. I like burgers and ciabattas.
I would love to try a burger on a ciabatta roll.
It's
I
great.
haven't had a true ciabatta roll.
The great thing about ciabatta rolls for like homemade burgers is that they're so sturdy that they won't like sort of disintegrate in your hands or get messed up when you eat the burger. You still have bread burger.
Yes, yes, because sometimes the buns, depending on what quality you get, sometimes they just don't make it.
But sometimes they're also the vibe you need. Like ciabatta rolls are great if you're like making burgers and then eating them inside. But if you're at like an outdoor cookout, if I ever go to like a cookout like event and someone brings out ciabatta rolls for the like 40 burgers that they just made, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Don't bring me to a cookout and give me like restaurant quality food. I want a burger on a bun that's been sitting on the table for a few hours. So the bun's like warm a little bit and the burger's fresh off. So the bun is all ketchup covered and like soggy almost.
I need it so that if I accidentally drop it in the pool, there will be no distinguishable difference between before and after.
if if my burger doesn't taste like chlorine when it comes right off of the grill, there's a problem.
I should be able to eat it in the pool and have it be all right.
That actually should be the quality test for burgers is can you eat it in the pool?
Yeah, can I stand in the shallow end and just chomp on a burger watching kids do laps?
The real worst is just kidding, I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Don't you hate when that happens? It'll come back to me.
And you lose it and you're like, what was it? It'll come back. Oh well.
Right.
You can move on.
And I can already feel it. That's not gonna come back. Whatever thought I had before, nah.
Oh no.
It might, if I keep saying that it will, eventually it will come back to me.
Yeah, but yeah, the litmus test for burgers has to be just can I have it in the shallow end?
Right. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Burgers are, I feel like I'm a little picky about burgers just because I love burgers so much.
Mhm.
Uh I just love cooking, actually. That's something a lot of people don't know about me is I love to cook.
And see, I'm the exact opposite. I never cook. I never really get into it. It's so intimidating. Like the
Right.
art of trying to learn it at first, the learning curve at the start. And
Yeah.
I'm someone that's like very meat oriented. So if I mess up and don't cook it long enough, there's like actual repercussions.
Yeah, that is true. That's very true. Oh my gosh. I have you ever seen pictures of people who've been like, "Oh my god, just made medium rare chicken." You
Yes,
can't do that.
you'll get salmonella. You
You're gonna,
can't make medium rare chicken.
in the words of Gordon Ramsay, you're gonna kill somebody.
Yes.
You donut. I
Kitchen Nightmares has to be one of my top five favorite shows to ever happen.
I would love like a lexicon of Gordon Ramsay insults.
Yes.
Just something I could like keep in my pocket. Like,
Well,
ah, you stink, you donkey.
it would be great if someone would like archive all the different insults he's used through all the different episodes.
You know, that's such a good idea. I bet there's someone who is.
Oh yeah, there has to be.
And if not, that's my life now.
Can you major in that?
Probably somewhere. There's, oh my god, there's a school where you can major in whatever you want, and I'm trying to remember what the school is.
Oh,
Leslie in Boston. You can
really?
major in whatever you want. You can, there's a major that is design your own major. And it's
That
basically if they've got the classes to where it makes sense as a major, you build the whole major like curriculum and then do it.
damn. That's
And then I saw that and went, that's too much responsibility, and then
that,
chose the school that I currently go to.
that's very progressive. Like that
It
is
is,
something to
and
think
of
about.
course I learned about it in in Vermont,
Yeah.
the most progressive state in the universe.
Yeah. Go Bernie.
We're open now,
Really?
fully. No mask mandate anymore. No, nothing. We are open completely, and stores can still choose, obviously, to require
Yeah.
masks if they feel like it. But yeah, because we are the first state to cross the 80% mark for eligible people
That's
vaccinated.
awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it really still depends with me because what today is, it's June 15th for
Yes.
the record historically. And when it comes to mask wearing, it really is just kind of most of the time you don't need it, but if I see everyone around me with it on, I'm just gonna put it on. Like I went to the mall today to get a gift for my mom,
Right.
and when I was there, everyone had it, so you just put it on. Even though I'm vaccinated, it's kind of still like a peer pressure thing.
Hmm.
Like you're just gonna follow the crowd of what everyone around you is doing,
Right.
and that's gonna have such an effect for such a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I still feel uncomfortable like taking off the mask in public. Like, I'm like, are you sure? Like, I've been fully vaccinated for like 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably been that for two now,
Yeah,
and
I had to get mine in March for work. Like,
yeah, I had to wait till excuse me, I had to wait till April. I probably could have
oof,
gotten it in March, but
right,
I just wanted to wait till more people got theirs. But when April came, I was like, all right, this is the time.
right. I mean, yeah, it's cool that like more people are getting vaccinated now. And
Yeah.
it's always funny to hear how states are trying to get people to get vaccinated. Like what state was it? I think it was like Minnesota was like offering free beer to anyone who got vaccinated.
Yeah. I
Uh
was gonna
there's
say
there's a state that offered free weed to anyone who got vaccinated.
that was probably Colorado.
I'd imagine.
The biggest one in terms of money is California. California has spent over $120 million in vaccine sweepstakes alone. Just
Vaccine sweepstakes.
yeah. So
What?
they're just trying to give away money to people that get vaccinated.
Oh,
And
gotcha,
then
gotcha. Like vaccine lottery.
yes, yes.
That's cool. I know West Virginia straight up like will give you $100 if you go get the vaccine.
Yeah, that's
To
what I
whoever will.
yeah, that's what Shaw's did. If you get vaccinated, you just got to present your card and they'll, send you over $100.
That's cool. I want to work at a place like that.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool deal. I was like, hey, I'll get
Right.
vaccinated. I'll take the jab.
Right.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
I don't want to end the podcast yet, but there's a new segment that we are
ooh,
adding. I have not told James about this. This is a surprise.
yeah. This is
Uh
I'm learning this on the air right now, so I'm with all of you.
yes. Uh recently, about a day ago on Twitter, for those of you who follow us on Twitter at the official PW Order, I sent out a request for our first ever mailbag segment where we just answer questions from people on Twitter.
I like it.
We've got one question from the mailbag this episode, and it
Okay,
comes to us from our good friends at the Good Cop Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast. Thank you, Matt and Graham, for being good pals. This question, I don't think you watched Raw, so I'll be able to answer this better than you.
yeah,
What did you make of Eva Marie's match with Naomi last night? So let me explain to you what happened, James, because
yeah.
you're
I
probably
have
just
no thoughts
confused that
on.
Eva Marie's back.
Yeah, so I thought she was gone,
so
but
she so she was, but she's returned, and for the past, I want to say, a couple months, they've been doing vignettes for Eva Marie for her return. So she had a match scheduled with Naomi, and Naomi comes out first, does her like dance thing, and then Eva Marie's music hit, and Eva Marie comes out with another person. She comes out with NXT UK women's wrestler Piper Niven, and Piper just walks in and like the Piper Niven is wrestling the match on behalf of Eva Marie, and she like squashes Naomi in like 10 seconds, and then Eva Marie is like, "Yeah, I won the match."
well, okay. What I make of that are a few things. The first is that really what Naomi has kind of fallen to? Is just kind of jobbing in 15 seconds?
So actually, for a while now, I want to say since like December, Naomi has been teaming up with Lana.
Yes, I've heard about. I saw a match
Yes,
months ago.
but Lana was released a few weeks ago. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what Naomi's doing now, I guess.
So maybe she'll go follow her hubby over to AEW.
Lana almost certainly will probably be in AEW. They've
Yeah.
already started acknowledging each other on social media again, because they kind of like, I don't know if they weren't allowed to, but they just like weren't.
Yeah.
But like literally the first AEW after Lana got released, Miro had a promo because the next week he had a TNT title match. And in the promo, Miro goes, "I would like to thank God for my power and my wife for being hot." Or something like that. And that's the moment when I realized Miro was the best promo in the business.
Yeah. Yeah. I really want to get into some AEW
You
product.
really need to get into, especially the TNT title aspect
Yeah.
of AEW. I think is the best stuff they're doing. That, and we talked about him recently, but like Brian Cage.
I was just gonna bring up Brian Cage. I need to see this man if he's as big as he is moving like
He,
a cruiserweight.
he so is. There's so many matches I need to suggest to you. I don't remember what match I suggested to you last time we talked about Brian Cage, but the one I'm going to suggest now is his TNT title match with Darby Allin
Yes.
when
Yep.
Darby was champion.
Yeah, cause Darby's a fairly smaller wrestler, right?
Darby is quite a small wrestler, very small and skinny.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah,
So I will get into that, and I do want to look into like getting Peacock because I know that's
yeah,
how you get the network. So
yeah. Actually, one more AEW match you need to watch. It's from the last pay per view, Double or Nothing. It was Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky and against Darby Allin and Sting.
I watched that match.
You watch? He's like mid-60s. How could he
Dude,
still wrestle like he's 35?
he okay. I didn't. Obviously, he had less highlights than the other guys, but the fact he had any highlights at all is
He
insane.
he was the highlight of that match. Just him just being able to do what he did was the highlight of the match.
Yeah, but
Like
the fact that Sting is still out there in his mid 60s, giving it his all.
almost better than his WWE run. He
Yeah,
hasn't wrestled like this since Impact.
I would argue better. Yeah,
Yeah, much better than his WWE run. Oh my gosh, the two matches he wrestled in WWE were both questionable. The two pay per
yeah.
view matches.
See, I wish they had had Sting go over at WrestleMania.
The WrestleMania match will always bother me to no end.
So many finishes bother me.
The fact that the build up to the match was so cool and like actually got you pumped, and then the match came and they just did WWE versus WCW again. They
And
ignored the entire build and changed the whole story of the match.
and then they had WWE win again. It's like,
Right.
why didn't you give a win to WCW? That would be kind of cool.
Why does Triple H need to beat Sting ever? Ever.
Oh, and I'm just laughing because this would have been like right around the time that Stephanie made that one promo on Raw. My husband is the king of king, the champion of champions, and there's just CM Punk in the back laughing his ass off at the notion.
Oh my god, my favorite unintentional like in-ring WWE promo moment was there was something going on. I don't remember what it was, but it was like the authority are talking and all the wrestlers are in the ring sort of thing. And the crowd would not stop chanting for Daniel Bryan because he was in
Yeah,
the ring.
I remember that.
It was so good. Like I think at one point John Cena just like goes over and ignores the whole promo and just holds up Daniel Bryan's hand for a huge pop. It
Yeah, the authority was a pretty weird time in the WWE because
sure
you had
was.
all those people. Well, it was Triple H and Stephanie, and then they had Corporate Kane like in there sometimes.
Oh my
The,
gosh.
the big one was Big Show. During that period, he must have done a dozen face heel turns in the
Oh,
span of like 2 years.
I hate authority era Big Show so much. They did him so dirty.
And I support his move to AEW.
Me too. I prefer him just being a commentator every Monday on a show I'm not going to watch.
Yeah, and and Mark Henry. I think Mark
So
Henry is
pumped.
severely underrated.
Oh yeah. I mean, he did a lot before his big like world title wins. He actually did a lot in WWE before then too. He was
Yeah,
always one of those guys never winning the title but always around the title.
yeah,
He was
and he
yeah.
was a legitimate strongman before that. And the thing with
He
the
legitimately was the world's strongest man.
yeah, that's not a nickname. That was
No.
like he
He
did a
earned
lot
that.
of strongman stuff. You hear about the mountain and all those strongman competitions. That was Mark Henry in the early '90s,
Yeah.
and people forget that Mark Henry recruited a lot of the guys from the strongman scene
Yeah.
into wrestling.
That's
He's the reason Braun Strowman
right.
came to WWE.
And actually, he's trying to get Braun Strowman to jump over to AEW now that Braun Strowman's out of WWE.
As Braun Strowman should.
As I agree as Braun Strowman should, but also there's reports that he's like probably done because he's actually like, he's big, so he's already like, I can't really wrestle much more.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
But his God, the triple threat WWE title match that she was just in last pay-per-view. Uh that match was great. That was like peak Braun. He was being Braun again.
Who were the other two in that match?
Uh Drew and Bobby.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Braun,
It was a
Drew, and
great
Bobby.
match. It was a great big man match.
It's odd that Drew is the smallest out of the three of those guys.
I think Bobby in height is smaller than Drew.
Yeah, probably.
I think. I think I watch Raw every week, and they've been feuding since like fucking February. I should know by now, right?
Yeah.
God, they've really been feuding since fucking February.
And is MVP still like?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Arguably, MVP himself is the best part of Raw every week.
Really?
He's so good at being a manager. He also does like small other story. Like right now, he's doing all the Bobby stuff, but he's also like trying to get Kofi to join him. He's been like poking at Kofi basically the past few weeks, being like, these guys are bringing you down. You were a WWE champion 2 years ago. You're great. What happened?
Well, do you think there's a chance they break up the New Day? Like finally?
I mean, there's a chance, and it would be very WWE of them because they just love doing that.
I just they should be kept together for a long, long time.
They shouldn't break up.
No.
Like, it would make no sense for them to break up.
Like I still don't know how I feel about the Shield breaking up.
I think the Shield breaking up is fine because
Yeah.
I think if they stayed the Shield, none of them would have become the stars they are now.
I'm gonna say, like now all three of those guys are marketable. But
It,
the reason the other three, like the New Day, were put together was because they weren't panning out the way
right.
they thought they would as solo stars.
And then they were like, hey, just put us together. We'll do it. And then WWE was like, oh, you have ideas? Cool. We're not going to pay attention to what you do. You can do whatever you want. And that turned into them getting super over.
You have ideas? We don't care. You're a low level tag team. Go ahead. Oh, wait. We let you do like your own ideas and
Yes.
you become a top tag team?
And it was a successful letting people do their own ideas. And because it was successful, they've never let anyone give any input ever again.
Yeah.
That's not entirely true, but it's pretty true. You can
Yeah.
watch wrestling and you can tell when wrestlers had input in what's happening these days,
Yeah.
especially on
There's
Raw.
there's so much muffling that goes on backstage, you know.
There's so much nothing that happens and on Raw now specifically. I don't think there was a single fresh matchup on Raw this week at all. The freshest matchup was Piper Niven squashing Naomi. That was the freshest matchup. Drew versus AJ was the main event. That happened at a pay-per-view 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte and Nikki Cross happened. That happened on Raw last week, 2 weeks ago. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka happened on Raw, which happened at WrestleMania. Jackson Riker versus Elias happened, which happened last week, and each match had the same finish.
Same finish in like 2 weeks in a row.
Yes, and that finish was Elias running away and Jackson Riker winning via countout.
2 weeks in a row, he gets scared off.
It wasn't even getting scared off. It was him being like, nah, I'm good. Freaking there was going to be another fresh matchup. It was John Morrison versus Jeff Hardy, which like it's kind of fresh. But also they wrestled each other at what's considered the worst pay-per-view of all time, December to Dismember 2006, in a tag title match.
What? So, get into some backstory. Why do you think that's considered one of the worst ones?
Because it's one of the worst pay-per-views ever. So, for reference, this was, I want to say, 2 weeks after Survivor Series. So, one, nobody's got any money anymore to pay for pay-per-views, so nobody wants to see it. They announced 2 matches beforehand. The Hardys versus M&M for the tag titles, and the Extreme Elimination Chamber. People in the match were ECW champion The Big Show. It was The Big Show, CM Punk, Rob Van Dam, Bobby Lashley. God, who were the last two? Hardcore Holly? And so Sabu was announced for the match and was taken out, which got many fans pissed off immediately. And then Sabu was replaced with Test.
No.
Yeah.
Sabu's here. Test. Come on now.
Imagine telling ECW fans they're going to see an Elimination Chamber match with RVD, Sabu, CM Punk, and you give them Test. And then the actual Chamber match, CM Punk was number 1, RVD was number 2 eliminated.
That's awful.
Bobby Lashley won that match and won the ECW title. And this was 2006 Bobby Lashley.
And that says he's on his way out the door.
Yeah, so he hardly knew how to wrestle. This was the thing he did the Mania after he won the ECW title, and then that Mania was the Battle of the Billionaires.
That's right. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, yeah, replacing Sabu with Test, that's probably worse than replacing like New Jack or Tommy Dreamer with Lord Tensai. Like, that's just how do you do so?
That's worse than replacing A-Train with Lord Tensai. And they're the same person.
This man was A-Train, and next thing you know, 8 years later, he's standing in a ring in some red, latex trunks with Brodus Clay dancing to like Funkasaurus Rex.
Do you want to hear the other matches in the show that happened? They weren't announced, but they certainly happened.
Yeah, I want to hear some of this.
Balls Mahoney defeated Matt Striker.
Okay.
Elijah Burke and Sylvester Turkey defeated Little Guido and Tony Marmaluke. Davari defeated Tommy Dreamer.
What?
And then in a mixed tag team match, Ariel and Kevin Thorne defeated Kelly Kelly and Mike Knox.
We gotta go back to how Davari beat Tommy Dreamer.
This is correct.
At an ECW event.
This is correct.
No.
I mean, it's not correct. It's wrong. It should have never happened.
I mean, isn't Davari regarded as one of like the top 10 worst characters to ever happen?
I mean, like Muhammad Hassan is.
Yeah.
This was post Hassan Davari.
Right. Okay.
This was specifically the manager of the great Khali Davari.
Oh. I never realized that guy was a wrestler.
Davari?
Yeah, it was so.
Oh yeah, he's a playable character in SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. I almost always make him world champion in GM mode.
And was he Muhammad Hassan? Like when Muhammad Hassan was a thing?
He was Muhammad Hassan's manager when Muhammad Hassan was a thing.
Okay, so he managed both Muhammad Hassan and the Great Khali.
He managed Muhammad Hassan, and then everything that happened in 2006 happened. And then he went on to manage the Great Khali very shortly thereafter. I think it was 2006. Yeah. Great American Bash 2006 was the last showing of Muhammad Hassan, I'm pretty sure. I'll check that right now.
Also, isn't it crazy like how quickly Kali like fell off to lower card and they just kept him there for 5 years, like on the payroll.
Yeah. Okay, so it was a bit after. The Undertaker fought bit. Oh no! Great American Bash 2006 was the Punjabi prison match
Oh my god.
between
That's right.
Taker and Big Show.
Punjabi prison.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the first Punjabi prison match.
Really?
Sure was. The Undertaker has an interesting history with the Great American Bash pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Because 2006 he was in Punjabi prison. 2005 he buried essentially Muhammad Hassan in Muhammad Hassan's last match.
Yep.
And the year before, uh, in what is considered another one of the worst pay-per-views of all time, 2004, the main event for that Great American Bash was Taker versus the Dudleys in a handicap match, where if Taker lost, then Paul Bearer was going to be like buried in cement. But here's the thing: after the Undertaker beat the Dudleys, he buried Paul Bearer in cement anyways.
Yes, that's right.
And what
And
happened? And then the last one was in 2000, which the Undertaker definitely didn't wrestle at.
yeah, and um I think one character that people don't appreciate enough is American Badass Undertaker, where for like 3 or 4 years he was just kind of riding in on a motorcycle. Because
Right.
that's the era of Taker I grew up watching because of
Mm-hmm.
all the Brock Lesnar SmackDown stuff from '03.
Oh yeah. This is a pay-per-view of a different time for sure. 2007's Great American Bash. The Undertaker's not on it, but it's a really interesting lineup of matches.
I want to hear this.
All right. So the first match was MVP retaining his US title against Matt Hardy.
Okay.
The next match was an open for the Cruiserweight Championship. The Cruiserweight champion at the time was Chavo Guerrero. Other people in the match who didn't win were Jimmy Wang Yang, Shannon Moore, Funaki, and Jamie Noble. The winner of the match was Hornswoggle,
Hornswoggle.
and he won the Cruiserweight title then.
The cruise. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
he was the last Cruiserweight champion before they brought it back.
I'm just. Could he like wrestle? Could
Yeah.
he? I
The
mean,
WLC match is fun, but besides that, eh.
I guess I can picture him like climbing on the top rope and kind of jumping off, but like
Yeah, he
I
does
can't
the
picture him more
that
than
that that's pretty much his finisher. It's the bullfrog splash. The
yeah.
tadpole splash, it's called, sorry.
Yes, tadpole splash.
But also, Carlito defeated the Sandman in a Singapore cane on a pole match.
Carlito. Yeah, he was in WWE.
He sure was. Candice Michelle retained her women's championship against Melina.
Wow,
A
that's
good
one
old, a good old classic Umaga versus Jeff Hardy match.
I like it.
John Morrison versus CM Punk for the ECW title. Uh,
That's a good one.
then we get to the last three matches in the card. Randy Orton defeated Dusty Rhodes in a Texas Bull Rope match. Dusty, like the American Dream.
What?
And then the Great Khali retained his World Heavyweight Championship match in a triple threat, also involving Batista and Kane.
Okay, so I'm still thinking about Dusty Rhodes being match in 2007
Sure was.
because I knew he did a bit with the NWO in '98, and even then it was kind of like, wow, good for you, Dusty. Oh, that's right. I can kind of picture it in '07. This was kind of before he started losing all that weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was still fairly big around that time.
Yeah. Actually, that was his last WWE match ever.
Wow.
Texas Bull Rope at Great American Bash.
With Randy Orton.
Yeah.
What a way to go out.
And the following night on Raw, after Orton defeated Rhodes' son Cody, Orton delivered a kick to Dusty Rhodes' head while he was trying to tend to his son.
That sounds like Randy Orton in 2007.
Yep, sure was. Is there anything you want to leave the podcast on before we end it?
Anything I want to leave the podcast with? I don't think so. I think I'm good. How about
Word. Well, thank you for coming, everyone. We're back, so see you in 2 weeks, right?
you? Yes.
Yes.
We'll record at some point. Get some content.
Oh, sure. Alrighty. See you guys.